Hassan. I studied engineering in Syria, and I came to Portugal 3 years ago to study business management. And I work in a Salesforce startup.
Well, Davis from Latvia. I'm here for Web Summit, and YouTube is where I create videos how to set up SaaS products. So that's what I do for YouTube. I just want to learn how can I improve my videos and my stack.
Thank you. Well, Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm a customer experience management consultant. I work for a customer experience management consultancy, so we help companies to drive and deliver value to the customer and to the company by enhancing customer experience for all the customer journey and relationship.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Serdar. I'm coming from Turkey. I have a software company in Turkey related with the e-commerce platform that we own. So for my brands, I'm looking forward to learn more about the YouTube channels and everything. So maybe they can increase the sales and I can get paid.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Cher. I'm from the Netherlands. I just moved here 6 weeks ago in Portugal. I'm a freelancer in publishing and I'm contemplating on starting a personal channel. And lovely to meet like-minded people as well in the same space. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you.
Obrigado.
Hi everyone, my name is Jimmy. I'm from the UK. I started a consultancy business about 6 months ago, helping SMEs and independent brands be more confident with making data-driven decisions and getting insights out of their data. I'm terrible at talking about myself and why I'm good at what I do, so hoping to get some pointers to improve that today. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Robin from France. So we are for the Web Summit and we are working on Tailor.ai, which is an application that do automatic video editing, like for the B-roll creation. So it's not like replacing the video editor job, it's just automating a bit of the process.
Hey, I'm Bertrand, so I'm here with Robin for the Web Summit. I'm from France as well. I've been a journalist for the past 15 years and content strategist, and so working in Tailors as well, bringing video to content creators.
Well, Britso from Italy. I lived in Lisbon for the last 3 years and I'm working as technical solution agent for a project in my company. And yeah, I'm like him, very terrible at speaking about myself. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Sergey. I'm from Spain. I moved here 7 months ago. I'm an IT consultant, but also I've developed a software on KPI and performance management. And I love to learn about how to create a YouTube channel so I can promote my services and my software. So I tried to do that, but it didn't work out very well. So
You improved way.
Not yet.
Hello, I'm Didier from France. I'm a web developer, but I am not here for the Web Summit. I'm a digital nomad. And I'm leading a program to coach people with ideas based on scientific facts. So what I've noticed, some people without a YouTube channel is boring with articles.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm an entrepreneur. I have been living here for 3 years, almost 3 years, and I'm looking for opportunities to promote my business.
Hi, I'm Flora. I'm Flora from France. I moved here 3 years ago, and I was until now working in marketing. Now I'm thinking of maybe changing a bit of career path, and I'm studying sophrology, and I would like to learn how to promote myself in this new field.
Hi, I'm Jan. I'm Brazilian. I live here in Portugal for the past 2 years. I have a YouTube channel promoting my personal brand, but just as an editor, and today I'm leveling up in the talk, so I'm very anxious to play this game.
Hello, my name is Oksana. I'm from Ukraine. Living in Lisboa. Live here during 2 years. I'm a plant different clients and different skills, and I need to improve my skills. That's why I'm here, and also because our speaker is definitely I need to support him. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ali. I'm from Turkey, and I'm here to connect with people. I know Charlie AI, and I'm here to develop my business. So I'm here to learn some YouTube. You know, I started with Instagram, and now I need to learn about YouTube. So I think it's a great idea to learn. And happy to connect with you.
Hello, my name is Astrid, and I do psychotherapy, and yeah, I think that YouTube and Instagram from you guys would be good to spread the word and connect with me.
Hello everyone, my name is Luna. I'm from Vietnam. I do product marketing for a Wall Street investment bank in New York. And I also have my own business selling handmade accessories, and I'm very interested in creative topics and natural topics, so that's why I'm here.
Hi, my name is Noam. I'm from Israel. I work with startups to public companies, tech companies, helping them scale anything around product, marketing, sales, partnerships, and I like YouTube and everything around it. It's fun.
Okay. I want to give a clap for everybody. So we will start with the question now.
Sure.
Okay. So how is the dynamic? Welcome to the new who come? You and you. You had a little faster introduction. What do you expect about the talk?
Okay, so my name is Kirill. I'm Russian, but I live here in Portugal for already 2 years. I'm an entrepreneur and I love marketing, so I just came to learn new things and share ideas.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Owen. I came to learn more about the YouTube content creation.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have here a question. And if you know the question, you can answer by yourself. If no, it's the mastermind. This is the safe space. Everybody here is for learn. So if the game is, I count 1, 2, maybe the 2 is taking the question. 1, 2, if you, or no, 1, 2, 3, Assam, or it's intermittent. So we will start with you. You take the first question, okay?
What are some easy ways to make our videos look more professional?
That's a simple one. So really 2 things, light and sound. Light and sound. What do you do with the light? The simplest way, I mean, great group that love it. Like everybody's here, consulting, freelancing, learning how to do YouTube. Tremendous, and we'll hopefully try to give you as much value as possible in a short period of time. And maybe we do like a more advanced follow-up session on YouTube because we could go super in depth in a lot of areas. But we'll cover the basics. Light, ring light, big ring light. There's you can get it on Amazon.es. You get it as close as possible to you. You get it at an angle. You sit it ideally in quite a dark room. Close the blinds if you can. Get the mic, the cheap mic that plugs into your iPhone or whatever phone you use. Those 2 things will make the biggest difference by far. Because the moment that somebody goes on YouTube, what do they look for? The way that you like that they don't want to see a person like in the dark room, like somewhere in the basement. You look great and you sound great. That's the key. That's the number 1 thing.
Well, just a second. Complimentary one. Yeah. Sound is very important. I record the videos for our talks. I need you to put the good mic.
Sure, yeah. There you go. There we go. Yeah, sure.
There's the clip.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That works.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Assam.
What?
How can we tell if people are enjoying our videos or if they lose interest halfway?
Views and likes. It's the number of views and the number of likes relative to the number of subscribers that you have on your channel. So let's say you have 50 subscribers, so you're starting out, and you posted a few videos, right? So your average views are like 20, 30 views. If the video gets 100 views, people like it. If a video gets 200 views, tremendous. People are watching it. The more you post, the more stuff that you could see later on in analytics. You don't have to worry about analytics until you post like 20, 30 videos, because it takes a while if you're launching a brand new channel. You have 20, 30 videos. Let's say you're ideally you go to 100, maybe 150 subscribers. Once you have that, then you go into analytics and you can check the retention. But generally, in simple terms, without going too crazy, it's the videos that get more views than your average number of views and likes. It basically means that less people are bouncing after 5 seconds, because that's really what it is. If people usually, if they don't want to watch, after 5 seconds they're gone. And then there's like other things that we could talk about in more in depth. But that's what it is.
1, 2, 3.
So what kind of YouTube videos usually get the most views?
Emotion-based. There are two types of videos. There are two types of buckets in YouTube. There are videos that are search-based, that are primarily related to business, and I'll talk about that, like company-wise. And then there's videos that are browse-based. Browse-based means if you go on YouTube and whatever videos you see, like crazy guy that's going to blow up the building, or like how like 35,000 cats are dying every single day, or like this is the deadliest phone since I don't know, since Earth. Like all these crazy topics usually are those topics that are emotion-based videos, and they're in the browse category. And that really means that majority of people are watching that type of stuff. It's because YouTube recommends. YouTube algorithm recommends people to watch that. People watch it. Retention is high, and that's basically what it is. I'll talk about it obviously in more detail so you could understand how that thing fits into broader YouTube stuff.
Okay, so you press 1, 2.
How do we make our videos show up more often on YouTube?
Can you say it again?
How do we make our videos show up more often on YouTube?
Make better videos. So yeah, how do you make the video? Better topic, better thumbnail, and more engaging intro. Those three things. You have a better title, and I'll talk about the titles, how do you do that. A thumbnail that is good. You have a topic that people are interested in, and if they click, then you have a really good engaging intro for the first 25, 30 seconds. By far, they'll make a big difference. And how do you do that? I'll try to explain in whatever amount of time we have.
Can we test thumbnails?
You absolutely should. When you have enough volume, you go with TubeBuddy and you A/B test thumbnails. It only makes sense to do when you have quite a lot of views and quite a lot of subscribers, so then you have actually statistic significance of that. But yes, definitely. You could actually do it in a simpler way, which I'll explain. Maybe we'll get the lights down. I'll show you some examples. And yeah.
1, 2, 3.
How do we make our videos? No, this one has just been.
You can put the question that you made out of the video.
What are the most important things to do when starting a YouTube channel?
Make videos consistently. You want to make at least one video a week and not drop that type of thing. Like how consistently making videos that hopefully are not terrible. And we'll try to make sure that happens. That would be like the most important thing.
What about consistency? What is the difference between posting the long video and short ones? Because short ones just were added this year.
Yeah. There's no massive difference. Like you could be growing with YouTube Shorts, you could be growing with a regular video. The thing about it is it's more to do with the format that's more convenient for you. Maybe if you're coming from TikTok, if you're coming from another channel, if the format that you prefer, the way that you speak, the type of stuff that you speak is great up to 60 seconds, start with YouTube Shorts. It's a great idea. If you start slower, smaller, where you don't have to kill yourself every Saturday when you have to drop that video because you decided I'm going to post every Saturday, which is not a bad idea, then shorts is good. But there's no massive difference. You could start with one or start with another. There are lots of channels that have grown tremendously with just shorts. There are lots of other channels that have grown with landscape. Landscape is harder. Anytime you're going, and any videos that is landscape, ideally it's over 2 minutes, because if it's something really short, then it doesn't make a big impact, a big dent into your sub growth. So it just takes a while to make, unless you're making videos on like Wall Street consulting, or like there's like some specific area like IBS. That's cool. That could work absolutely. Like you make like, there's a lot of titles that you could create that'll work. So yeah.
And for like long format video, how consistent would you say is it reasonable?
For shorts.
No, I mean
for long. Always, if you're starting out, one video a week is good. If you get one video a week consistently, great. That's a start. And then that's like the baseline. If you can do it to twice a week, that's good. 3 times a week, that's optimal. But once a week is the minimum.
Okay, and once your channel is, let's say, launched and you start to get some results, do you still have to keep up with this rhythm, or is it something that?
Yeah, usually you want to have consistency of releases. Consistency of releases is something that YouTube takes into account, the algorithm, and it promotes your videos to more people, to your subscribers, to people who are similar to your subscribers, and to the browse category. So if you drop the consistency, it could work primarily if you have a different format of the video. So like, for example, there are videos that, the majority of videos are, the YouTube channels are the ones that produce in video quite frequently. And there are other channels that produce like documentary style, heavier style of video, where it's like, they do it once a month, or they do it once every 2 weeks. But that's like a super well-researched video, then you're like, oh my God, I really want to watch that. You put like a reminder if you're a subscriber to when this thing gonna be, basically when it will be released. But what I'm saying is, majority of the time, you do want to keep the same consistency, even if your channel is growing. In fact, if your channel is growing, you absolutely should keep the consistency and add more, if you can, obviously.
What should we talk about in our videos to get more people interested in our brand?
Yeah, you need to do good research on the topics, and I'll talk about that. Like, really exactly what you need to talk about will depend on, if we're talking about the company, it will depend on the company. What matters is how you do the topic research. You can do topic research by writing your ideas that you have on your mind. You can look at competitor channels. You can look at keywords from your topic, your area of expertise, and you go into YouTube search and you look for videos that are already ranking well, that have more views than subscribers. Then you can get some ideas on your list. You can also ask AI. Right now they're really smart, and you can use like that to build an initial list of, okay, these are like pretty cool topics, and this is maybe I could, let's say out of 50 that you've created with different methods, I could start with the first 3, and you get going.
What?
I'm one.
I have to.
This is a challenging one.
Sure,
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
How can we get people to watch our videos until the end?
Yeah, how? Usually, if you do the basics right, you have a better chance. Title, thumbnail, those are already good, and the intro. If you can get that stuff, that's already a good thing. Usually you basically, in your introduction, you would say, or right after introduction, you would actually say like why people should be watching until the end. It could be, for example, I'm going to explain to you the 3 key things about the Wall Street accounting. And right in the end of the video, I'm going to give you a bonus section that I have learned over the last 10 years that make the biggest difference in my life. Like, holy shit, this is like a crazy thing. And it's going to be in the end of the video as a bonus. That's one way. If you're making like fun videos, you know, people could put, you know, like, here's the watermelon and we're gonna blow it up in the end. So watch until the end, and people do some other, you know, they review a laptop and then they have this giant watermelon that they're gonna smash into the wall. Yeah, you've probably seen those. But generally it would be like you could offer some kind of a bonus. There's going to be some kind of a value point that would people be interested in watching. And if the video itself is valuable, the stuff that you're talking in the main part, in the mid part is cool, then they're probably going to watch it until the end. Majority of people don't watch the stuff until the end. Usually the retention rate, the Mr. Beast retention rate is going to be about 70%. And that's like, those videos are going to get like 2 or 3 million views. To get that is really hard. So like, there's going to be like a big drop all the time, but that's fine. You don't really need to be, everyone doesn't need to watch it. There just needs to be enough for the algorithm to promote it to enough people, and then you're going to get the views and subs.
What's enough?
It's relative. It's relative to your channel, it's relative to your topic, it's relative to your niche, it's really relative to a lot of different factors. There's no one specific thing, because, for example, if you're doing a video that is for your business and is search-based, so for example, how do I connect HubSpot to Salesforce? Oh, well, that's a very specific technical stuff. People are not going to be watching it for fun on a Sunday because they will be watching it when they need to connect that thing to the other thing. But if you want to watch, like, for example, the craziest watermelon, or let's say something else, like the deadliest cat I've ever seen. That's a pretty cool video. You're probably going to watch it when you have free time. It pops up in browse. Difference. There's a bit of a difference. No problem.
So, thank you, Sergey, for accepting this.
No problem.
This invitation.
Thank you for inviting. Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. Sure. Yeah. Oh, actually, you could probably keep. Okay, well, sure. Well, we're going to get to that later. Thank you, guys. Excited to be here. Excited to talk about YouTube. I've been doing YouTube for since 2018, 2019, more or less consistently, and experimented quite a lot. I have this thing that I didn't rely on the slides because I wasn't sure what kind of tech we have. So I put some agenda for us to go through, so I know where we are. But basically, I'm going to start with a moment when it's like 2 years ago when I posted a video that did super well, that like made a massive difference like in my subscribers. I was at maybe like 250 or 300 subscribers to that point. And you were making videos for a while and obviously they're not growing, et cetera, et cetera. And I remember I made a video, it was like political stuff, which I'm not doing anymore. So it was a video I posted, and you always like, it's a lot of work, you put it out, you have no idea what's gonna happen. And then I went to do other stuff. I went, like eating, like just whatever I do on a regular basis. And then I get like a bunch of emails in my inbox, and like this person commented, that person commented, and in the first hour or 2 hours, I get like 5 or 6, which is like quite not a typical thing for a small channel. I'm like, that's pretty cool. And then I forgot about it. The next day comes and I open my inbox, and it like takes me a while since I'm like scrolling. There's like 50, 100 comments. Like a lot of comments. So go in the video, and that video is like at 10,000 views or something like that. And for me, like a good number of views at that time was like 100 or 150. So it was very, very small channel. And this thing is getting like 10,000. I'm like, that's crazy. So then the next day goes by, that video at 370,000. So my subscribers went from 200 something to 4,500 in like 2 or 3 days. Literally, you're just watching like a crazy number of people like subscribing. Like, what the hell? Like, it's like nobody knows about you, and then like, holy shit, like there's like a ton of people that are talking about you. Then that video gets banned from YouTube because of a copyright, because I downloaded a 7-second animation from Twitter, and the guy didn't like it, so he took it down. I redid the video, re-uploaded, got another 72,000 views. So the point of this story is to say that anytime if you're going to take YouTube seriously, you're going to get that one video or those 2 videos or those 3 videos that will take whatever number of subscribers you are, and they will 10x it, 50x it, 100x it. And nobody knows when it happens. Nobody really knows how it happens. Even really, really big creators don't. But there's a moment and there's a point when all things connect and people are like watching this thing like crazy. And that like just gives you an exponential growth. And that cannot be hacked. I mean, but we'll try today. We'll see what happens. How YouTube works. There are really three key things to YouTube. It's frequency. It's like how often are you posting? Click-through rate. How many people are clicking on the video? And the third thing, let's see, it's how many people are staying of watching, retention. So those are the three key things that make YouTube algorithm work. It's how many people are clicking on the video, how often are you posting, and how long do they stay all the way until the end, or generally it's like 70%. That's really how the YouTube algorithm works. Right, let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, so YouTube traffic. Generally, YouTube has 10% of the search traffic. That's people searching for, usually it's business-related stuff. How do I do this? How do I put a light in my basement or in my bathroom at 10 p.m. when the light bulb is out? Right? Something like that, right? You get the idea. And 90% of it is emotion-based. Crazy videos, funny videos, cat videos, dog videos, all that type of stuff that you watch, I watch, everybody watches and browse, that you spend crazy amount of time. Those are emotion-based, browse-based videos. Monetization. Really, there are only three things that are important for monetization. Is your niche, whatever industry specific industry you're in, the watch time, like how many, like the watch time and video length, that like really matters, and geography. So like people from Eastern Europe are going to be one price, US is going to be much higher priced. So like that's what YouTube takes into account. Those are the three things that matter in monetization. Okay, so now we're going to cover the main thing. We're going to cover personal brand, and we're going to cover the business side. I'll start with the personal brand, and then we'll get to the business side in a moment. So personal brand, what do we really need there is you pick an area of interest, of like what do you really want to make the videos about. That's a start, and usually you want to like make videos on topics that are not super well represented on YouTube. So like for example, I love Apple. I know a ton about Apple. Like I could talk about iPhones, how they're made, like iPads, all of that stuff. I read all the Steve Jobs books and followed the company for a long time. But if I'm going to be making videos about Apple, there's a ton of other channels that are doing videos about Apple. And purely because of the algorithm, my videos are not going to be ranking super well. Like that's just not going to happen. It will take a while. Unless I'm doing like creating a certain slightly different angle around it. So my point is, if you're picking an interest, it's a good idea to have it under like a long tail spin to it. So like underrepresented spin to your topic. So it's not like it's not super well represented on YouTube at the moment. Let's see. And then what you could do, what you should consider, is if you pick a main angle that you're known for, whatever main angle it could be. Like for example, like you're going to talk about phones. That's your main angle. Or you will be doing like phone unboxings, which is a bad idea because everybody does it. But the second angle will be you're going to be smashing phones. And the third angle you could add is you're going to take a phone and you're going to jump into the water every Sunday and you're going to make a call from the underwater. It's weird, but you know that's what you do. That's your thing. So what the point is, you have a main angle that you're known for on your channel, and then you have two supporting ones. And that usually means that you could slightly change the type of topics that you'll be talking about. The other thing is, so for example, if you don't know the area that you want to make the videos for, you could ask a question like, what problems you overcame in the past that you could help people with? Usually, we all did something that's cool, and people want to know how you did that, right? And that's an interesting area where it's not going to take you like ultra hard effort to basically search for these topics, put together the script, because you already know it. So you could already start with that. That's a good way to do it. Consider desired outcome. That's usually a good idea. So like, let's say you have a YouTube channel. What do you want people to do? You want to subscribe to your channel? Do you want to sell a service? Do you want to do, there's like some kind of an action in the end? That's a good idea to think about. You probably already have an idea what that would be. The other part that I've just recently realized, and this is a pretty advanced stuff, it's a good idea to think what kind of life would you like to have as a video creator? Because what ends up happening a lot of times, and that's what happened with politics, for example. I got a ton of subscribers with politics. I had videos on TikTok that got 1.5 million, a few of those, and then basically it'll take you an hour to scroll through the comments, which is great, right? In theory, but I don't want to be doing any politics. So you have a lot of subscribers, but you hate the topic. So before you get into a certain area, what you want to define is what kind of lifestyle would you like to have? So for example, do you want to get out of the house every time? Do you want to stay inside? Do you want to be traveling? Whatever you want to do, write it down, and then that will help you identify what type of videos you'll be doing and what type of format you'll be doing. Because if you just start, sometimes you get on a growth path, but you're going to hate doing it. And you need to be doing it for a while to get growth. So then people give up and then they burn out, and that's usually what happens with YouTube, because the lifestyle they have sucks. But then they ended up being there because of the decisions they've made. They just didn't define it. And that happened to me for sure a few times. Let's see. This is a pretty cool framework. I mean, you don't have to do it at the beginning, but it's called identity, emotion, and action. So that's this is for your channel. So what kind of identity do you want for your viewer to be? So identity would be a college student. What would be the emotion? Well, he's entertained. And then the last one is what kind of action he takes. He's going to type a comment. Holy shit, this is crazy. This is really cool. That's an interesting framework to think about that helps you identify what type of videos you're going to be doing, how are you going to be doing them, and who's going to be watching them, and what reaction are they going to have. Because the point is, people are going to watch this thing, and they need to have a reaction. Otherwise, nobody cares. Why would they watch your channel, right? You want a certain reaction. It's going to be thumbs up. Ideally, it's some kind of a comment. There's something they need to do. Titles. I mean, I talked a little bit about the titles. The easiest way to start is literally by just, you already probably know the topics you want to be doing. List ideas. Just put them down on what you want to be doing to start with. You could find ideas looking at other channels. That's what I do. Usually I do quite an in-depth research from competitor channels. You can find really, really cool topics there. The other one is, you probably have resources that you like. You go in a magazine that you always go to, or you're reading this Instagram blog, or there's a source that you always consume all the time. Usually you could find a ton of topics from there. For example, I go on a few websites. I read strategy.com, which is a tech analytics blog by Ben Thompson. And there's a ton of topics you can get from that. And you already probably consuming and signing up to certain things that could give you an idea what that could be. The other part is testing ground. Testing ground is really important. So before you, let's say, make a video, how could you test the idea just to see if that resonates with people? Flipping the idea to your friends. So for example, you made a list of topics, send it to your friends, see what they think. They're probably going to say, oh, this is garbage. But the last one is really cool. You could send it on Reddit, drop it on Reddit. Or the other one that's really cool is TikTok. Just make a short video about it on TikTok. And I really like that idea because sometimes, you post on TikTok and a bunch of videos fail, nobody cares. And this other one has a potential. Cool. Well, then you take that topic, you make a YouTube video about that. So you have some kind of pre-validation from an audience before you dump a ton of effort into making that video. Let's see. What do we have? So YouTube intro. YouTube intro is really, really, really important. The very beginning, the first 25, 30 seconds. What are you going to talk about there? What you want to do is, so you want to create a curiosity gap. What this video is about, what people are going to see, why is it a big deal? Right at the beginning. Right at the beginning, you want to have some kind of a strong point. Strong point, the strong argument right at the very first second. And then once you do that, you could, and this is a pretty cool idea if you can, is tell people how much effort you put in to this video. For example, it took me like 10 years to realize this, but iPhones are dangerous. They mess with your brain. Like, okay, this is crazy. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. Okay, that's interesting. Like, it took you like 10 years to do something, or how long it took you to realize or to figure out something. That's pretty cool because it shows effort. People care about other people's struggle or whatever else they went through, so they don't have to go through that crap. That's good. And if you can get that in the intro, that would be amazing. So after you did an intro for 15, 20 seconds, then you actually tell who you are. Like, hey, I'm Sergey. I'm like a creative director and like I'm a co-founder and I'm going to talk about blah, 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 blah. So then you do the intro. A lot of times people do an intro at the very first second. Nobody cares. Especially if your video's in browse, the last thing people care about is who you are and like what do you do. They don't really care because they don't know you yet. Your subscribers will care, but people outside of your subscribers don't. So like give them a value, what the video will be about, and then after introduce yourself. Just a bit of a tweak there. Let's see. Yeah, like changing the visual. Yeah, that stuff is a little. Yeah, we could talk about it later. So basically, one of the really important parts about YouTube is you want to make sure that your videos are showing up in suggested. You have browse and you have suggested. Suggested basically means is when you watch the video, then there's going to be the column on the right, and those are the similar videos that you could potentially watch that are, the other cat videos that you're going to be watching with some other cats. Right? So you want to show up and suggested because that really is where all the growth happens and you'll get the majority of subscribers. And how do you do that? You want to have a consistency in your thumbnail design. And we'll look into thumbnail design. That's like, there's a bunch of stuff happens there. But consistent design is really key. You should share a video always inside a playlist. And once you get enough videos, you create a playlist. So once you're sharing a video, then the whole playlist shows up on the side. So if people like the video, they're gonna watch the other stuff like automatically because it shows up on the side. And yeah, that's another idea you could consider, like going longer. Like if let's say you make a video for 5 minutes, could you make the same thing for 25 minutes or 30 minutes? The longer the video, and if it is interesting enough, then it just contributes to the watch time. The more watch time you have, the more the more YouTube will promote your videos. So that's cool. That could be another option. And that is basically the majority of the things. Now we're going to talk about the title, and we're going to look at the thumbnails in detail. So title. There's like a bunch of different frameworks. I probably could share with you, we'll have to figure out how do we do that, because I only have a few examples here. But title is this. Just as an example, you're going to challenge assumptions. So basically going opposite of what people think. Stop chasing money, chase wealth. Good title. Very clickable. Take something from the news. Like, for example, 20 Halloween candies you should never eat. That's pretty cool. Let's see. This is a good one. Move away from the pain. Moving away from the pain. So this is like a version of a how-to video. Like instead of saying how to, you're basically trying to get people away from the pain. And the example would be biblical principle. The biblical principle helped me escape the rat race. If somebody's religious and doesn't want to be in that thing, 9 to 5, pretty cool. And then the other one is a loop. So it's like you're starting a story but not finishing it. So example would be if you're lonely, broken, you're bored, watch this. Awesome, right? Like just insert whatever thing. Like if you're broke, then watch this Wall Street breakdown video. Like this is how you get the money back. That's pretty good. That's a start. We could work with that. Personal accomplishment. Obviously, you've seen a ton of those. How I changed my body in 6 days, 6 months, 6 hours, 6 years. Probably the faster the better. Refuting an objection. how to grow booty faster without strength exercises. is going to be definitely popular. Really depends, of course, on the area of whatever you're going to talk about. Authority. Authority is cool. How U.S. military linguists learn languages super fast. That's interesting. You basically put in some authority of like how doctors are cutting down on fat, or how doctors are recommending to lower the blood sugar. You get the idea. So what the point of this stuff is, you have a bunch of frameworks, and like the other one would be, for example, you're selling a result, right? So how I type really fast. That's basically you're selling a result. Or how I beat imposter syndrome. Interesting topic. The other one is, there's like a bunch of these that you could go through, but the point is that, so you have these frameworks and you put together a document of these with these frameworks, then you go to AI. You go to AI and you go, let's say you came up with a list of ideas that you're going to make the videos for. Maybe you took them from other channels, maybe you wrote them down. You put these frameworks, you put it into AI. AI is going to spit out a bunch of different topics that it's going to take you like a long time to come up with yourself. Using these frameworks, and you're going to get a lot of cool topics. You could tell AI, listen, I want 100 topics. And it's going to generate you using this stuff. And that's what's going to be a lot better than just like, oh, I'm just going to create a topic of like, without like just assuming something, because this is like based on psychology, and that's based on the stuff that people click on. And the other part is that it's like shorter, up to 50 characters, et cetera, et cetera. And a similar thing happens with thumbnails. Thumbnails are a little bit more complicated. I will try to make them, keep them relatively simple. Let's see. And then I'll just show you thumbnails, and we'll talk about the business, because I know there's you guys have your consulting and other companies. So I'll talk a little bit about the difference of personal brand versus the business, and then we can do the Q&A and get more specific. Right. So actually, let me do that, because I'm going to be in the way. So thumbnails. Let's see. Yeah, so thumbnails is really, it's weird, but if you think about it, it's 90% psychology, and design really doesn't matter that much. It really doesn't. So what happens here is that when you're creating a thumbnail, you want to find a curiosity gap. And there's like 5 or 6 different categories of the curiosity gap that could work for your channel. And then it really depends on the type of brand that you want to build, the type of image you want to build, and the type of videos, of course, you're going to be making. So the curiosity gap is basically, it's the gap between what you know and what you would like to know. So moment, it's a moment thumbnail. I mean, we've seen a ton of these on YouTube, I'm sure. And so like before the thing happens, there's like some kind of reaction, and you add to that like text, you add to that a little bit of like other, it's basically, they're called scroll stoppers. And I'll talk a little bit about that. So a moment is one. Yeah, so it's about the decision to click or not. It's really based around the curiosity gap, because if people don't really, if they're not curious, nobody cares. They just scroll past. That's what happens. Story. We love a good story. Yeah, like these are really cool. Like what happens after that? This girl, Cleo Abram, I think. Yeah, she's really good. Huge if true. Yeah, she's really good with her work. Let's see. Result. Obviously, the menu cheeseburger. Like there's like some, Ali Abdal, of course, super well known, and then you could also take a look at the titles, because the titles are really well written. Like you're not slow. Become a speed learner in 20 minutes. But the point is, the thumbnail is emphasizing the result. Scroll stoppers. So once you have identified a curiosity gap that you'll go for, you want to add some scroll stoppers, like faces, brands, like large numbers, colors. So you want to differentiate that thing a little bit. Transformation. Really, really great stuff. Before, after. Usually you want to show the desired result. Novelty. Novelty, yeah, usually, I mean, that takes a while. Like that's a giant sushi. But I'm sure you've seen those. Those are quite cool. Not easy to create, but novelty could be another one. Danger and movement. Yeah, it's a little bit more Mr. Beastie style, but That's another one. It really takes about 2 seconds for the viewer to get your thumbnail or not. Like that's it, like two seconds, and then if they don't like it, then they bounce. So the point there is that you want to really emphasize the visuals, not a lot of text, because people are not going to read that. They're going to be like, oh, what the hell is this? They're just going to scroll past. So be like, you want to cut down on the text, more on the visuals. Bigger face, bigger visual of whatever you want to talk about or show in the video, like put that into the thumbnail. And yeah, this one, I wouldn't recommend to go with this one because unless it's something like hyper unique, it's just so overused. Like, yeah, unless it's like a real thing. MQBHD, yeah, reaction is it's very classic. Let's see. Aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, so if you're, for example, you're going to talk about yoga, you're going to talk about your morning, evening routine, beauty products. This is pretty cool. Like meaning, like you could make this minimalistic design and put like nice photos in it. That could work. That could be like a part of your brand if you're into this type of stuff. Yeah. So another more scroll stoppers. In this example, we're looking at brands. We're adding more brands, so it's a little bit more familiar to the viewers. What are you going to be talking about? Arrows. I love arrows. Arrows are cool. Like definitely arrows for sure. Like red arrow is great. Like especially if you're gonna show like something that is relevant, even if it's not like hyper exact. Like it's fine. Text. Yeah, so text, you should use it, just don't go with more than 5 words because it just takes a while for people to read that thing. And it's better to go with the visuals. Let's see. Yeah, so 13 milliseconds to process an image, text will be longer. Yeah, so this one is important. It's a little bit more advanced than I haven't been like ultra successful with this, but generally if you want to be like really good is, so let's say you put a thumbnail and the first few seconds of the video ideally matches the scene that you have in a thumbnail. Like ideally. So like the viewer, whenever the viewer is going to click on this thing, like for example, you're going to show a thumbnail of a Schwarzenegger and then you're going to be there sitting in your office. Well, it's kind of disappointing for the viewer. Right, so ideally there's like some correlation to whatever they clicked on to whatever they see right immediately. So that's important. That is quite important. I think we went through the. Oh yeah, it's about me. Like I think my picture. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Thank you, guys.
Do you have some
Questions? Yes.
Yes. I mean, yeah, it was a great presentation. Thank you very much. Maybe a bit too fast for me, but because you shared a lot of good information, especially on the framework. So I was wondering if there's any way that you could share.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Some
Yeah.
insights.
Yep.
Because I wasn't taking notes. And
Yeah,
was kind of,
totally.
So it'd be great to get at least about the framework to get how it works, and so we can actually apply.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I did go a little bit fast just purely because there's quite a lot to cover, there's quite a lot to cover, and I didn't really cover the camera, the gear. I'm happy to talk about that, by the way, easily, like no problem. I could explain like what if you're starting out, what should you use, how do you do it. I did maybe go a little bit too advanced into this stuff, but you know. Feel free to.
That was my second question as well. For someone starting, what is the equipment that you would recommend?
The phone, definitely. You get like a like a made in China tripod on Amazon.es. So like the one that you could put on the floor. They have like a cheap iPhone mount. You get the ring light. I could probably send like some links on exactly which one you want to go for. So you bring the ring light as close to your face as possible because then it just makes your face softer. It looks a lot better. And then you get like quite a cheap lavalier lav mic that's exactly the same one except with a wire, and that's a great setup. That's a great start. It also depends on if your video is going to be static, or you're going to be sitting, or you're going to be walking around and doing other stuff. Ideally, you don't walk around too much and speak at the same time because it's like not ideal, not a good format. Everybody's been doing it in a vlog style, but it's not the best. But does that answer your question?
Yeah, if I want to get a little bit advanced, because I'm already using my phone.
Oh, perfect.
I was thinking about camera.
Camera, Sony. Sony, I'll need to look up the model, but it's going to be one of those APS-C sensors, either I think it's like 900. It's going to be like 700 or 800 euros. You could get like a lens for $300-400. And the main difference between a phone and a camera is that it's going to separate you from the background. It'll look better. It'll look more pleasing, especially if you're sitting, well, it depends. Like it would still look cool if you're in a closed room or in small room, or if you're in a larger room, it still would make your look better. The other thing you could consider is absolutely the background lights. The background lights, it could be as simple as that guy. Like that's pretty cool. Like those are cheap, and you probably already have them around the house. You could do some like Christmas lights, maybe somewhere at the back. That could look quite good. There's like more dedicated ones that you could buy that I could recommend. Let's see what else. A backdrop, if you want to. Like the backdrop could be another option if you just put like some paper. If you have like a blank wall, ideally you have things behind you, like, I don't know, like desks, or like, it really depends on the type of look. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because in my case, where I work, which is normally where I record myself, I'm in front of a window, but behind that is like my living room and the kitchen at the back, so it's like not super nice.
Yeah, so that just happens a lot. That happens a lot. Well, you could consider a different angle. Maybe it's like if you use a different room, or you're not sitting in front of the window, you're sitting to a window to the side, to the left or right. You close the window if you have the blinds. That would be awesome. Then you have the ring light, and then you'll be able to compensate with whatever light that you have. That could look quite good. But it also depends on how much space are we working with. Because I do this technical setups with clients, and we work all kinds of rooms.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, can I suggest more in detail?
Okay.
Yes.
One question more specific, like because of the changes like Reels and TikTok, what do you say about understanding a little bit how to get more attention from the viewers? I like those mechanisms. For example, I see a lot of stuff in Reels and TikTok that people do like movements, or kind of talking and doing something in the background too. Is there any tips for this kind of attention, I would say?
It really depends on the format, I would say. Like it's easier to do in a short, as a short. I would say it really depends on the topic. Like you could make the videos they'd look relatively boring, that still perform, that like you're just sitting and you're gonna talk about things. You don't necessarily have to always be moving with the camera. I think a part of it is a style thing. There's definitely a style. Like it's like what style of the videos you want to be making, and it fits with your personality, with your brand. You could be using, like, yes, absolutely. If you're moving the camera a little bit more dynamically, that's awesome. It just depends on what you're going to be doing. Like if you're showing things, like for example, you're going to show something on the laptop every time, or there's like a guy that cuts these music videos, and he always have like a cut of a music video, and then he points his phone into a laptop with a music video playing. It's his style. He always does it. That's pretty cool. I would say it more depends on what you want to be talking about. And then we could actually define, well, what could you do in that format on that topic that could be more dynamic. You could take some inspiration from other guys, but it needs to really work for you, I would say. Because sometimes it's, if it's a bit of a mismatch, then.
And in this way, should be a consistency in the style as well, or it might vary?
No, no, absolutely not. You don't actually have to. When you're starting out and you don't have a ton of videos, you don't have to do like ultra consistent thing. Because the key, what matters is you learn and you experiment. You want to experiment as much as possible. So I didn't really talk about that. I should have. It's like the formats. So for example, one format is going to be like you're going to be sitting by the window and you're going to talk about things. That's cool. Well, maybe the other format is you basically take a phone and you just record a voiceover, and you're not in the video, and then you take that voiceover and you put a bunch of images. That's another video that you've done. like a lot faster. And then you can do these types of experimentations and see what actually works best, because sometimes it takes less effort. And you still get the results. Yes?
I have two questions. Number one, I will phrase it as a video title. Three things you should avoid at all costs when running your YouTube channel. That's
yeah, oh, that's a great one.
And number two, if you have any ideas on how to promote YouTube videos outside of YouTube.
Yeah, for sure. I'll start with the second one because that's easier. Let's see. Promoting, definitely. TikTok, for sure. TikTok will be great, especially like TikTok algorithm is just way better like than YouTube, for sure. So like cutting out stuff from the YouTube video, put it on TikTok is good. Recording a separate video as an announcement, as a teaser for your YouTube video is really good. Hey guys, I just made the video about like the Trump and how United States are in trouble or whatever, and link in my YouTube video, put it on TikTok. That's pretty cool. So you could have like a short from the video. You could do like an announcement on TikTok. Communities. Reddit could be a potentially interesting community. You do need to spend a little bit of time there. Instagram, yeah, 100%. I mean, it really depends on how many subs you have there and the response, but why not? Like, starting out, any like helps from your friends. So that could be another one. 3 things to avoid.
Basically other social media networks.
Sure. Yeah, but if you have a following and if you have people that are liking your content and you're posting there consistently, yes. And if the format is aligned with the contextually is aligned with the platform, because then yes. Yes, LinkedIn.
I heard like now LinkedIn algorithm is like promoting short videos.
It does. You don't want to post the YouTube link into LinkedIn because LinkedIn's going to bury it.
Yeah.
But if you take a short, ideally in a square format, you put it on LinkedIn, absolutely, definitely, it's a good idea. So yeah, and then you put a link in the bottom, like go check this thing out. Yeah, absolutely. 3 things to avoid when starting out. When starting out, you mean?
Running a channel, whatever. Starting out, running a channel, whatever you think is more interesting.
Don't overproduce. Don't overproduce the video. Don't spend too much time on gear, tech, things they talked about. Okay. Like just that like don't like go crazy on the frameworks and everything. Don't stop. Being consistent. The third one. Yeah, don't worry about the gear too much. Don't worry about the gear.
You didn't say anything about the premieres, which I found super annoying.
Which one?
Premieres. They started doing those premieres.
Oh, yes.
There is no video, but you click and there is no video, but you have to wait for the video. I find it annoying sometimes. I unsubscribe.
I dislikes because of that.
Sorry?
I started getting dislikes because of that. Like I put the video and it's going to launch tomorrow.
Yeah.
People click, there's no video, I don't like. So maybe
that's why I wanted to see if you said.
Yeah, no, Premiere, no. I mean, I wouldn't really think too. It's for like a bigger channel. It could make sense. But it's more for like a special event, special occasion. I wouldn't say it's like makes sense to do on a regular basis. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I was following consistency. I post 3 times a week.
Right.
Same day, and I said, okay, since I'm programming those videos in advance, I could use the Premiere so people will know next Monday there's another video and whatever, but at the end people hate that. So.
Yeah, I mean, you probably want to just do like the way you probably did it, like you put a time and date, right? The schedule, yeah, probably better. Like it's less, doesn't piss people off.
Schedule, you decide if you want that to be shown as Premiere or not.
Oh yeah, don't do no, don't do Premiere. No, it's only for a very specific reason. Yep.
As AI is now here and you record videos in English, but now you can like make it like in Spanish or Italian, like your voiceover. You like open our channels to Spanish and use all these tools, and can you grow from it?
Possibly. I have not experimented with AI beyond titles and scripting. Scripting, that like is a revolutionary thing. I didn't talk about it because we don't have a lot of time, but yeah, like in terms of in terms of AI, 100% should be used like crazy. Like with Google, you could get a free trial, like 3 months free trial, Vertex AI, which is better than the consumer version. Sorry. Yeah, so that could work. If you do like a voiceover, the thing about it is sometimes if you do like a voiceover from a robot, I know they sound really cool now. It depends. It depends. It could potentially work. It is worth experimenting. I forgot the name of a company that does this AI text-to-speech, but they are doing really well, especially if you crank up the emotion. So it's like a little bit not like monotonous, but it's like, hey, you know, it's like, so that could potentially work. Put in some images in it, could work. It could work. There's some videos that do quite well. There's some channels that do like that do quite well with like sneaker reviews, like top 10 sneakers for your running, and yeah. Yes.
What would you advise if we have audience from different countries? Is it possible to have 2 languages on the same channel?
The best option probably would be, I'm guessing, is just add in the subtitles. Like the voiceover wise, no. The voiceover would not be possible, so you would need to have a separate channel and like dub the video. Like you would basically need to, have like, for example, if you're doing it in French, you would translate it into English version, and then you would basically add it on top of the video that you've just done. That could be a way to do it. So it would be your channel just in another language. What YouTube does is by default, they have the subtitles that could be auto-translated with Google. A bit of a mixed thing, but if you want to do it like really like well, probably would be the dubbed option. That'll take.
You would advise 2 different YouTube channels?
Yeah. If you want to do it for growth, optimize for growth long term, it would be the best option. Yeah. That would be yep.
From your own experience, how do you create your thumbnail like to be consistent? What exactly do you mean by consistent?
Yeah. Usually what it means is it's a style that you pick. It's a style that you pick that works for you. It also is consistency means colors and design language. So like, for example, are you going to show your face on every thumbnail? Are you going to put, like, what kind of background color are you going to use? How are you going to show the visuals of your videos? Those are the types of decisions that you make that make the thumbnail consistent. You could take inspiration from a bunch of channels that already do well.
How do you actually do it?
How do you create it?
Yeah, you in your own.
Oh, how I do it? I took inspiration from a bunch of channels. Like I basically took inspiration, like I watched like a couple hundred channels, and I basically combined. Like I took a bunch of screenshots and I put it in Canva, and then I converted it into PDF and sent it to my designer. We chatted about it. Didn't get much out of it. So I did it myself in Canva. So I just like decided, okay, cool. I'm gonna have a black background. Maybe I'll going to use yellow, even though it's overused like crazy. And I'm gonna put my face in this thing, and then I'm going to put this like big text like to the side, and maybe I'll add like a visual and an arrow that I was talking about. So basically, the way that I did it is I looked at the channels that were similar to my channel, to the topics that were similar, that I liked visually, that performed quite well, and then based on that, I figured out the elements that I want, and then I just developed. Okay, this is a sort of a template that I want to use, and it works, and that's how I did it. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I have not used the first one. I think they're quite similar. It really depends on, in terms of capability, they're quite similar. It really depends on the price and the workflow. If you're happy with it, like, is it fast enough? Does it work well for the types of videos you're doing? Those will be like the main considerations. Like if the yeah, I would recommend, if you're using a Mac, iMovie is excellent. I personally am not a fan of, I don't really like the online tools just because these guys are a bit of an extortion machine. Meaning you want to do something, they're going to be like, oh, you got to pay $5 for that. But you use like an actual software on your computer, like the way we used to. I know everybody wants like subscription. Like iMovie, for example, is free. You put like a soundtrack and it works really well. You could probably I'm sure there's like another version for Windows that could do the same thing. And I would recommend that. I would recommend that versus like an online. The interface itself will be quite similar. You just drop the video, you have a timeline, and then you add a soundtrack, and then you just adjust the volume sound so so it doesn't really overpower your voice, and then you're done. Then you just export.
And in that we can write text also while editing the music.
Absolutely, yeah. You just add a text. It's like there's going to be an option to add like a text block. You add a text block. You decide on the length, on how short or large would it be. Like how many seconds will it show on the screen? You probably don't even need animation, like intro, outro animation. You adjust the size of the text, and then you copy paste like how many pieces of text you want. You could probably even do like the CEO podcast, or like a bunch of these big podcasts now, they have like this dynamic text when they take a quote, and like there's like a big word and there's like a small word, and it kind of like it's sort of like a fancy subtitle for the intro. But with a start, I would say iMovie, and then other equivalent to Windows. I don't really know the exact one though.
I'm sorry, just to interrupt on that. Or CapCut, right? Like,
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. Yep, absolutely.
CapCut is very easy, like
You could do that.
both platforms. Very
Yep.
CapCut.
Yeah, a ton of people are using it, and they like it. So yeah, that could be another option. You could just put it on the phone.
And I made video on my phone, and it didn't came fully on when I posted it, so I deleted it.
Sorry, what happened?
I made video on my
Yep.
phone, iPhone, but the resolution was not full, like on the full screen. It was black from the side.
Oh, I see.
So how can we do that?
And where did you upload?
On phone only, I just.
Oh no, I mean, did you upload on YouTube or where?
Yeah, but I deleted that.
Really, it should be fine. Like if you're doing it in a vertical, if you're doing it in a vertical format, it should be fine. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why that like they cropped the sides. I'm not sure why.
Because I used Canva this time, that's
No. Usually, no. YouTube just looks at the aspect ratio. So if it's a
because some of the videos I say it comes full, in full resolution, and it was like.
I think you're talking about the aspect ratio, which is a bit different. Yes, we need to look into it. I'm not sure. Yes.
Can you speak a little bit to relationship with like the amount of views that you get, the persistence of posting, and like the changes in the amount of the viewership? How do you react to it? What kind of journey this is when you started YouTube channel? Do you give yourself a year, 3 years?
Yeah.
Like, how do you kind of relate to
For sure.
this kind of journey?
For sure. Yeah, at least a year and a half. Like you need a substantial amount of time until it actually works. It could work better for the business. In fact, I don't think I covered too much of the business side. If you're doing like the business, like a business angle for your freelance or your consulting, most of the videos you're doing is search-based. So they're not going to be emotion, no crazy cats, no nothing. You're just doing search-based. So it's like based on how to, that are based on the audience that your audience wants to learn. So that's what you're doing. So it's going to be less views, it's going to be less traffic, but people who are going to come are likely going to be really qualified. So you don't really need a lot of subscribers when you're doing a business. Like if you have 100 subscribers and you have like 40 views, you get 2 leads out of it, and then your life cycle is, let's say like your average contract value is like 20 grand, then amazing. That's it. Like YouTube is a home run. Usually that's what happens is like the channels, it doesn't matter like how many subscribers you have around the business side, like all that stuff that I talked about, the fundamentals matter, but the chasing the views, it doesn't really matter as much. If we're talking about in general terms, personal brand, business brand, a long time, like 1.5 years, it makes sense. If you apply some of the things that I've talked about, you have a much more success, specifically with the titles. Once you start doing stuff that people want to know about and you research, for example, you go through like 10 competitor channels that are doing similar things that you do. So for example, they talked about AI in 2025, like how the AI is going to change printing in 2025, and you can do the same topic, you could explain the same thing on the same topic, and you apply some of the things like title, intro, and you do it consistently, you're probably going to get quite a lot of views, unless the area of your topic or the area of your expertise is like hyper competitive. It's like iPhones and Apple, like for example. So then you could actually, if you're using like vidIQ, you could actually see like a search volume and like the level of competition. Then you can actually have an idea of like, if it's going to be super competitive, it'll take a longer amount of time. If you're going to be talking about IBS and you do like really good presentation on that, you're probably going to have like results a lot faster, just because it's very hyper niche and a lot of people are looking for it. And it's a long tail, meaning like there's going to be like 100,000 people that like have this IBS thing, and they have a really, it's a big problem. And you're going to explain that in like a very specific level of detail. Like here's how you could avoid, here's how you could change things around, and you do like a good job on the titles, that's probably going to generate views faster. But it takes like some time, and like at least once a week. So it's a long game generally. So that's why maybe you should start on TikTok and get a lot more views, but a little bit faster. But it really depends on the goal and where you want to be in the future.
vidIQ is like a tool that allows to test tags or descriptions or stuff like that.
vidIQ, I only used the free version. Generally, the only reason I used it is because when you have it on the in your browser, it shows the number of subscribers from the channel right in YouTube. You don't have to click on the channel to see how many subscribers they have. You could see it right away. Why? It is because whenever you're doing your title research, you want to find videos that have more views than subscribers. So if the video has more views than subscribers, that means that video is really cool and YouTube algorithm promoted it. And if it's a similar topic that you could do, you probably should steal it, add a few words, and that's your own version. And so for that research, vidIQ is cool. And it does have like some tag metadata things that you could do with it, like which is like paid. But metadata and like descriptions and tags matter a lot less. What really matters is title, thumbnail, and intro. Those are the key things for the results. Yes.
So we are one of those platforms with a subscription for video.
Right.
So we are just getting started, and we do like automatic video generation, so we can come from like a voice recording that you do, and automatically find relevant footage for each part of your voice recording.
Yep.
Do you think that makes sense for creating video?
Yeah, it does. What does it do? Like it automatically finds.
So like from like the text, we could generate an AI voice, or from your voice that you record directly, we will find the B-roll, so like
the B-roll.
Yeah, stock footage or your own B-roll, or like we'll pick inside your own video library, we'll find the best and most relevant clips for each part of it.
Yeah, 100% makes a big difference, because it's one of those things where, like in a production sense, like a lot of effort is it takes a lot of effort to find a really cool B-roll, especially if you do voiceover videos. Like I could do really cool voiceover, like really good, like make a hyper precise script. But then the hardest part is like, okay, great, I have like 10 minutes of black screen, and I need to put stuff in it. What are you going to put? Images. Yeah, like Ken Burns is only cool for that long. And you're going to be like zooming in, zooming out, zooming in, zooming out. No, that's not really cool. Then you need to put some kind of footage, and then it's really hard to get that footage unless you are like, you've got a huge B-roll library, which majority of us do not, or you got lucky because like you extracted the Netflix documentary, and thankfully it's also copyright free, so you could like steal a bunch of that stuff, or you're doing a movie, like, right? So sometimes if you're doing like a movie review and it did a voiceover, you could like steal a bunch of scenes from a movie, and that video looks really dynamic. But that's more of an edge case. But in general, absolutely, it could be really useful. Yes.
What advice would you give to write good descriptions?
Good descriptions, finding a good reference. Finding a good copy reference, for example, it could be around like a good LinkedIn post, or like just a good writer that did like a really good article or a blog post with a really good intro, collecting some of those examples, and you put it into AI. You could put it into a TXT file, or you put it into a PDF file, and you'd use that as a reference. Then you have a video, and then you could transcribe your video, and then using that transcription, tell an AI, like, look, I have a reference, write a description of a video for YouTube in 500 to 800 characters in this style in 5 variations. it's going to generate a bunch of like different options, and it's probably going to be quite good. Like that's what I would recommend, like over a long term, so like you don't have to spend too much time on creating that. Yes.
Before we said like it's good to do research and maybe see what your competitors do in the same topic that you want to talk about. And you gave the example of phones. And
Yes.
You said like, oh, maybe you swimming pool, you show how the phone. And I don't know, could you give more examples of this whole idea you said? Because how do I find idea? What I do different to actually talk about the same topic?
Yeah. Which area you're doing the videos?
Fashion, personal style.
And there's like a specific thing in fashion?
Like what you mean, like
Like yeah, like meaning like more like is there like a certain style of fashion, or there's like a specific clothing, or is it more like general overviews?
no, yeah, for example, usually they are showing views, or let's say there is a lady sitting and she's showing like some kind of clothes, let's say 5 jumpers for autumn 2024, and yes, but usually it's about like showing looks, so they are standing in front and dressing and then changing and then giving like styling
Right.
response. There's also a lot when they are just sitting and talking and showing some pictures.
Yeah, you could do it in two ways. One would be basically just doing similar thing as your competitors with better titles. So like very much the same thing, better titles, and just seeing what you can do with that. I would recommend, I would test that without going like too crazy. The other thing you could do is you could tailor the videos for a specific audience. Like make them a little bit more specific to a certain group. Let's say 25 to 30, or like there's like a specific group of people that are going to be watching. It's going to be a little bit smaller from the targeting perspective, but it is going to be a little bit more differentiated. If you want to stick with the same format, that could be an option to try these. But definitely, competitors a lot of times their titles, thumbnails are not the best. And you could really improve, especially now with AI. It just helps so much, because before it used to be real pain in the ass. Now it's better. So I would recommend those two options before going like too much into, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Maybe I have one.
Yes.
You recommended iMovie, it was, right?
Yep.
You mentioned Canva, CapCut. Are there any other tools or like programs?
Really depends on what you would want to do. It really depends. Like, I mean, I generally prefer the simpler the better. Like Canva's cheap, I mean free basically. I added videos in Final Cut just because it's a little, like Final Cut, because it has like a bunch of like more things. One of the things actually I forgot to say, which I remembered, is consistency, right? You're releasing a video once a week and everything. It makes a massive difference if you hire an editor. Like really, it's like you go from like a super amateur level. It's like, oh, like I'm gonna have to edit this thing, I already hate it, to, okay, I'm going to send this file to this other guy or a girl, and they're gonna edit this, and it's gonna be great. The amount of time that you save with an editor is huge, and you could find somebody on People Per Hour. peopleperhour.com. That's like definitely the best resource. There's like a lot of really good editors there, and you create a brief. Basically, you go on a YouTube channel and you're like, okay, I like this video style. Maybe you pick a few and you say, I want my video to look like this. Go make me a sample, 30-second sample for free. They're gonna create something. If it looks good, if you could find like the price that works for you, usually it's like about 50 to 60 bucks a video, then you could really save yourself a crazy amount of time on production. Because generally, like I used to produce a lot of videos myself, and I still like doing it, but it takes a crazy amount of time. Like I would spend like 3 days like putting it together. And it is enjoyable, except that like if you take YouTube seriously, you want to take it as a business. And if you're doing it as a business, then generally you want other people to be helping you with. So you need a little bit of an investment there. And that's like a really important advice. Thank you for reminding me, because yeah, that's like makes a big difference, because you need volume and you need consistency, and without help, it's like, I mean, you're doing other things. You've got places to be.
Can I ask?
Yeah. Yep.
One, I don't know if you have experience with Instagram like that as well, because like I
I agree, I'm totally not into the editing at all. So
Yeah.
do you think also with Instagram or any other social media, like outsource right away?
I wouldn't go too crazy on like outsourcing everything. It's really more depends on like how much timeline do you have, how much budget do you have, and also the frequency. It's also like it's also knowing like which formats already work. Like if you're in the process of figuring it out, it may make sense to take it a little bit slower to see what works best for you before dumping like a serious amount into it right away. In terms of growing YouTube versus Instagram, I mean, it makes a lot of sense to have a short video platform and YouTube as at the same time. If you have more presence on Instagram versus TikTok, definitely. I would definitely recommend TikTok though as well, just purely because it just works really well on the reach still with like a lot of subscribers. You can get like good results there. peopleperhour.com. peopleperhour.com. It's a really good one. It's much better than Fiverr and Upwork because I've hired people there and geez, it's hard. It's like, yeah, it takes a, I wouldn't recommend. It's expensive and it just, you get a bit of a hit and miss, especially with Fiverr. Fiverr is good only for like, you have this thing that you need to do and it's like, and you could find somebody. It's not you need somebody on a consistent basis over the long term. People per hour is a lot better. Upwork could work, but generally, talent-wise, it's tough. It is quite hard to find somebody who's really good. Yes.
And more of a like psychological question, because I think you can know so much about like how you do it, like all this technical stuff, and then you know everything, and you still will start. And I feel like for me, like even if I'm starting, I'm getting to the point where I'm publishing something, and it's even if it's getting views, if it's not, I'm deleting it. I'm feeling like this kind of like, I wouldn't say embarrassment, but for some reason something is holding me back, and I know a lot of people are feeling the same. And if you have like a product or brand that's behind you, it's easier, but it's still like, how do you get over like the fear of like of doing it, of getting yourself out there, because you know you want to do it, but it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally. Have it all the time. And it actually happens. It never leaves you as a creator. It never leaves you. It's like regardless of the type of stuff that you do. Like I'm gonna put a little documentary that I worked for quite a while, and it's gonna be really good. But I still think it's really shitty. And you know, you're in the process of putting it together, and then the more you look at it, you're like, oh my god, this doesn't make any sense. Even though it's a really good intro, you're like, oh, this is crap. How the hell this part like didn't connect to the other part? It's unfortunately a part of creative process, and we all struggle with that. The way to overcome it is with practice, and usually with not having expectations. Even though I know it's not a very satisfying answer. But it's like, it's not. Yeah, there's no really magical thing. I think I would say one way to make it a little bit easier is if you put less work. Meaning, let's say if you do like a TikTok thing first, it takes a little bit of less effort, and then it's you're not like putting it together for a lot of days. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to you overthink it. I overthink absolutely, and that's a problem. That's absolutely a problem. Try not to overthink. One way that I found to be cool. I was working with a coach before, and she has a bunch of different cool methods. But one that I really liked is you set a goal, and you set a goal with a number of fails that you're going to have. And that really changes the whole psychology. So instead of a number of things that you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to succeed with this. No. We're going to say, I'm going to make and I have a goal like that. I think I have like 150 videos that I'll make. Don't cross 50,000 views. So anytime you have a goal and you track it in whatever way, on paper or in the calendar, and you'll say like, okay, the whatever number of videos I will make are not going to get to a certain number of views and likes. And when you make a video and it obviously doesn't work really well, you do a check mark, and you start collecting that. And so you're not really chasing the result. It could work potentially. It really depends, but that could work. I find it to be, for me, it's quite a helpful reverse engineering option. But it doesn't really ever leave you, which is a weird thing. Like, even if you get a lot better, you understand all of that stuff, you put something out and it's like, whoa, I'm not sure. You always have doubts. And that's where you fight in a creative process too. Like, a creative process is a weird one because, like, for example, you're putting together a script and you're gonna have a lot of excuses to stop. Like, let's say you have a block of 2 hours to 3 hours and you're like, oh, you know, I'm not sure, I'm gonna think about it, I'm gonna get a coffee, I'm gonna get a tea, I'm gonna watch something and I'll come back to it. And you have to fight through that, which is quite hard. Like, you actually have to limit yourself with the time and say, okay, whatever, I'm gonna put it together, I'm gonna figure this out. Because you actually have a lot of conflicts and you have a lot of doubts and you're not sure if this actually is going to work. But it happens most of the time, every time. The difference is you do it and you get a little bit better. You get a tiny little bit more psychological muscle over time as you go. And that's really the only thing that I found. It helps a little bit with confidence over time too. It sucks not to get results, but the reverse goal is a cool one. And generally just like allowing yourself the time. Allow yourself the time, because it just takes a crap load of time. Yes, there's going to be guys who did like 200K views like super fast, but it's not us. That's fine, you know.
Do you have anyone that helped you review or criticize your content?
Review the content?
Yeah, or help discuss with you?
No, I didn't. It's a good idea. I think Red Dracula should have done that, but that didn't happen. No. I just put it out, and the viewers really made their choice, and you know, like the results that I was getting is like, okay, well, that works and that doesn't work. Yes.
I don't know if it's a bit silly question, but then you said like you would recommend like to post at least once a week
Yep.
for consistency. But like long-term wise, would you say like, okay, you actually don't want to do it long-term wise, like so consistent, like more passive or something? Do you think there's an amount, like a certain amount of time, like or subscribers where you say, okay, maybe now you can do like once a month or something like that?
Sure,
Or would
sure.
you say, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. It really depends. It really depends on what you would like to achieve. Like what's the goal? Like, I think the monetization starts at 1,000 subscribers and 5,000 watch hours. But then you're not gonna you're gonna make like $10 or like a couple cents in the channel. You're not gonna make a ton of money. But it depends on what you would like to achieve, and that's where I talked a little bit about the main goal of the channel. What would that be? You're going to sell a certain number of things, or something else is going to happen. Then you could actually throttle down a little bit. Obviously, YouTube is it's an interesting one because it's a never-ending thing. It's like people going to be climbing Everest, and then they actually finally reach that place. Usually, it doesn't happen with YouTube. It's like you keep climbing. Sure, well, let's say you get like 100,000 views, 100,000 subscribers, and you're generating a certain amount of money that works for you. That's good. But then if you are in that place, you still need to be producing a lot of content, and then there's quite a lot of decisions, and you need to make. I would say a good idea is to figure out the lifestyle that you'd want, and make sure that you want to be doing it, because a lot of times it really sucks. Now, it could be the reverse. Could be true that you're like, oh, I love it, but it's a tricky one.
Thank you, Sergey.
No problem.
Please.
Thank you, Jamil.
Yeah, I learned with the indication that you say in the paper. Can you share with?
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely. I can just put it in a digital thing and send it to you, and you could share. Absolutely.
Okay,
And
so
thank you.
I
think
this is important because
of course.
Recording and we don't know how some point.
Yes,
important.
absolutely.
So don't go, please. Close your eyes because this is traumatizing this moment. Okay. Let you know. Wake up, please. So now we will have the picture. Why the picture? One is memory, second social media, and third is for recognize someone could be here. Happened in the 2 times in the beginning of the year, and the last networking happened to me. One member sent me the picture and said, who is this person? And we contact through the picture. So always I took the picture, we post in the group, and after we have a little networking. If you want to ask something to Sergey now, you can ask to him. And I have palmeritas, so please eat palmeritas. Do you know that one? you are a new member, we have half. The palmeritas is some, like the cookies that represent the communities in form of the heart, and like a lot of people, like to the community. So I invite you to eat the palmeritas too, and thank you for being here. But don't escape, please. Also we have an event on 27th in Levago. Is how create web page with AI. Will be facilitator with one teacher of the Levago. So you are invited. Please register in Meetup. We have also a co-working day on 28th. So you have 1 day, 3 days. The co-working in the Cube. So thank you.